I'm the CEO of a company called Unamia. We make international quality kids wear for children 0 to 8, and we distribute it only through the internet. So we don't retail in stores, for example. My journey as an entrepreneur started a long while back, and it's been a very unique journey because as an engineering student, when I graduated from India, I was given the unique chance of participating, building a company which later on went on to go IPO. And that was one of the very early Indian companies, not Indian companies, an international company which had a branch in India. So I got to participate in the first stages of the internet boom, which then meant that I was bitten by the internet bug. So I moved to the US, and for over 12 years I was working with some of the internet's marquee names like eBay, Yahoo, Oracle, when they're still on their growth phases. So at that time I got to participate, we got to see various aspects of the internet as a distribution mechanism, and I always had the seed in the back of my mind that one day I would like to start a company. But I was surprised that despite living in the valley for so many years and having a very strong network because of my friends, and also because I went to business school at Stanford, when I decided to start a company, I wanted to come back to India. Both my husband and I wanted to start companies, and we came back to India. And the reason for that is there is a lot of dynamism and vibrancy in India. There's a mostly young population. The average age, I think almost 50% of Indians are below 25. So it's a very young, dynamic country. People are looking for better ways to do things. Yet there's a spirit of working within your constraints, innovating within your constraints, which I think is very unique. So moved back to India, and that's when I got the idea to start Unamia. One day when I was rifling through my son's closet, I noticed that a lot of his clothes were marked made in India. So this to me, because we bought them abroad, there was something really unusual about that we were making excellent quality clothes in India, but they were being shipped abroad. And when I started looking into this whole picture, I realized there was a huge opportunity, especially the reason that we couldn't get high quality clothes in domestic markets was because of the high cost of retail. And for the past decade or so, I've been working in internet, which I know is a very efficient distribution mechanism. So I put these two together, got a great team, was able to raise venture financing, and launched Unamia about 6 months back. And since then, we've got tremendous appreciation from customers all over India, from small places like Kottayam to metros like Bombay and Delhi, to in West Bengal, for example. All of them log online and they buy clothes that is made by us under our own brand. So it's a tremendously gratifying and humbling story for me that we could actually invent a new business model in this internet space using the skills that we had in India. About 3-4 years ago, I happened to attend a talk by management guru C.K. Prahlad, and he said a business model that succeeds in India can succeed anywhere in the world. And that's exactly what I kept in mind is if we can find something that works in India, then it's a business model that we can export to the entire world. And that's what kind of keeps me going. That's what inspires me. It's beyond selling kids wear. It's about inventing a new distribution model which could go anywhere in the world. So the past 6 months we've had a tremendous traction. We have grown. A lot of companies are happy when they grow 100% in a year. We grow more than 100% in a month, because that's the pace of innovation right now, and that's the scale of the demand that is there in India, and that is the type of mindset that we're having in India. People want something better, and they're ready to take a risk. They're ready to go online and do things and which go out of their comfort zone, right? So I think that a lot of it is fueled by the changing consumer taste in India. We also have a very innovative business model insofar as we sell through our site, but we also sell through small women entrepreneurs that we call mompreneurs. So the combination of the internet high-tech model as well as the mompreneur high-touch model has made us very successful indeed. And we were successful in raising venture funding from two of India's most prominent prominent and best known venture financiers, Angel Prime and Bloom Ventures, and we're off to a great start, and I'm looking forward to making this much bigger. In India, the kidswear market is huge. It's a 8.7 billion US dollars, 8.7 billion US dollars, and it's growing at 20% year over year. So it's a huge opportunity, and if you take into account that the birth rate, the youth in general of India, you can only see that the trend is going to increase over time. So I think between now and 2015, the market is expected to go up to $11 billion, which is a terrific target for us to chase. India is the first country in the world where the internet access from mobile phones has surpassed internet access from desktops. So that gives you opportunity for inventing a very different type of model from what has existed in in the Western world or in other parts of the world. So we're waiting and watching to see what new modes of consumption, what new modes of access, what new modes of distribution the Indian consumer wants to adopt, and we will be right there responding to the way that they are taking their lives forward. A lot of what we see today is the result of a very good government policy and planning, the framework of which was laid many years back. So if today India has maybe the third largest internet population in the world, it's because the framework or the groundwork was laid a long time ago. So not only is the infrastructure now available for exploring different types of entrepreneurship, the cultural and societal acceptance of entrepreneurship has also increased. So these two things have played a big role in making India much more friendly for entrepreneurs. I think the third aspect of it is that India is a place which is abundant in talent, and I'm not just talking about engineers. In India, you find people who are very talented and very trained in areas. In my case, for example, people have been I can find great designers, kidswear designers, who have been designing for the world's top brands. I can find wonderful engineers. I can find great ad people. I can find folks who want to do customer support, and all of these multi-talented people I can really get for a fraction of what it would cost me to get the same caliber of talent abroad. So all of these things, right, have helped make India a very attractive destination for entrepreneurs. Not only that, a lot of what's happening in India, the kind of what India has done to lower the cost of engineering, to lower the cost of development, has in fact empowered entrepreneurship in different parts of the world. Nowadays, anyone, even if they live in the US, can tell that it's going to cost them less than $100,000 to develop a product, and it's because they can always find a really good firm to outsource it to. Well, that is much less if you're living in India. You can actually run an entire company for a year on less than $100,000, which is a great thing. Indian online population is about 130 million people online, but here's the amazing number, that 130 million is just 4% of the overall population, right? So if you look at the internet penetration in the US, it's 78%, in China it's 50-odd%. Just imagine what will happen when the Indian population even doubles or triples, right? So I think that would not have happened if it weren't for a good government policy. Even today, I'm also looking forward to the new telecom policy being implemented, because the rationale behind that is to make telecom accessible and affordable to everybody in all parts of India. So that for me is terribly exciting, not just because I'll be unlocking this will enable demand to be unlocked, so people from any part of the world, or any part of India actually, can participate in buying things online or selling things online, but also because it opens a whole new talent pool. Now, one more thing that I'm interested in, which doesn't affect me exactly, is the amount of support that the government has given women entrepreneurs. In my case, I was fortunate that I was able to raise venture capital, but I do know that the government is working very closely with a number of women's organizations and a number of NGOs to make sure that women can take up entrepreneurship as a lifestyle, and encourage them to take that step to empower themselves. So that's extremely exciting for me, not just because I'm a woman, but because enabling women entrepreneurs, makes it possible for them in turn to employ other people. I think the world over that's a very common trend, and it's great to see it being replicated in India. I think everybody recognizes Brand India for its dynamism and for imagination and for doing great things. I think there is a thought that Indian companies are hungry, are innovative, will come up with new ways of doing things, and that's a very prominent aspect of Brand India today. I think what I also see now that I am in India is kind of a willingness to reinvent and reimagine. In India, it's possible, if you see how people play the violin in India, it's very different from how people play the violin abroad. The way that they hold it, in the US they hold it under the chin, in India they sit cross-legged and they hold it. But the music which comes out is still beautiful. And that's the kind of stuff which happens in India. Things are reimagined, they're reinvented, they're broken down, they're reassembled. And that level of, I think, reinvention, reimagination I have not seen anywhere in the world. And I think that's what the world is beginning to recognize. I think the word jugaad has become a common, recognized well in other parts of India, and that stands for the spirit of daring, the spirit of trying new things out. And I think that that is slowly a little bit of what Brand India is beginning to be recognized for.